it became very apparent and evident to the left that what an easy way to realize there were real racial hurts, rightfully so, people that lived in the time that my grandfather lived, but what if you could just mine that pain forever, right? And keep saying to Black America, look, you are still not doing well in society, and so it's because of white people. And of course, it's so much easier to say, yes, it's white people. It's not because of me, it's not because of the things that I have done, it's because of this other thing that I can blame perpetually for the rest of my life. I have an excuse. The left has understood how desperately as human beings we want an excuse for everything because personal responsibility is hard, right? It was hard for me to become personally responsible, to look myself in the mirror and say, hey, guess what? No matter what's happened to you, even if you weren't dealt a great hand in life, I certainly wasn't. I didn't come from any money. My parents are not together. But to look myself in the mirror and say, Candace, you know what, no matter what, doesn't matter what happened, this is all going to be on you. That's a tremendous step for anybody to take. And yet I was fortunate because my grandfather never took the victim mentality. If I asked my granddad, this is a true story, just a couple of years before he died, before his memory was going, he would sort of, the strange thing about when people go through dementia is that their recent memories go, but they dive back into the past really easily. You know, he could just jump to being 14, 13, 12 and tell you a story as if it happened yesterday. And he would talk about, you know, I'd say, Granddad, you know, tell me about this time, you know, the Ku Klux Klan and spraying bullets in your home at night. And he'd say, yeah, well, they didn't like my daddy. They didn't like my daddy. And I'd say, what was that like? He'd go, we kids, we would run to the back of the house and we would hide under the bed. And then, I'm not even kidding you, a smirk came across my grandfather's face, and he said, and my daddy grabbed the shotgun and shoot back at them boys. Proud as anything. Boys, diminished them, just completely like the smallest little thing, a Klan member, nothing. My daddy, like it was fun, like, you know what I mean, like, you know, the way he said it made it sound, he just had so much pride. And I thought to myself, wow, imagine seeing yourself as so little as a victim. That's such a terrifying memory. Me listening to it secondhand terrorizes me, brings pride to you, brings pride to your face, brings a smile across your face all of these years later. And I would see this in my grandfather growing up, and I wanted that sort of strength without even acknowledging it. As a little girl, he was quietly seeding my brain with understanding that he just never took the victim mentality. Never once, ever, did my grandfather, while we were growing up, ever say anything bad about white people. It just wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing in our household. In fact, if you would ask him about those times, and Granddad, you know, tell us about, you know, when segregation was happening in North Carolina, you know, he would just say, oh, baby, it was a different time. And he would say, you don't listen to any excuses. My grandfather just didn't believe in this idea that we were all determined by our past, and that's why he got ahead. That's why when my grandfather died, that sharecropping farm that he worked on, he became the owner of. He died, he built his retirement home on the sharecropping farm, right? And so what excuse did I have? How could I look at myself, right? When the time came, even though I tried it in college, I experimented with it, of course, liberalism, yeah, everybody sucks, because you're white, it's because you're a man, you know what I mean? It's the reason I can't get ahead. You know, it's very fun to experiment with for a few months, but it's not gonna help you get ahead in life. And having that, my grandfather be that person that so imbibed that into my mind, changed my perspective on the world, and it made it so easy for me to understand what the left's game is today, why they don't want to see this, why they don't want to see a room filled with white people and black people coming together to hear a positive message, right? Because at the end of the day, what they lose is power. If I can make you jump because I say to you, well, you know, this person's racist, and you, oh my God, I'm terrified, so I can control your actions. I can say the way that you're gonna defeat racism is you're gonna vote for this guy, right? Oh, this guy, he is, sexist, hates women, right here, front row seat, found him. Here's what you gotta do to defeat him. You just gotta give me $5, donate to my campaign, and I will make this horribly bad sexist guy the front row go away. This is the game they're playing, right? All it does is it gives them power, while the rest of us are feeling in pain and going, oh my gosh, it's so horrible, we're never gonna get over this. They don't ever want you to get over it. Look at how rich and powerful they've become. Especially when you look at government. Oh my gosh, how government has grown itself. The war on poverty. The war on poverty, trillions and trillions of dollars. We've got to help black people. The war on poverty began, what was it, in the mid-60s? We spent trillions of dollars since then, and black people are poorer today per household than they were then, right? Anybody want to check in on the war on drugs? What do you think the number one killer is in America? You think COVID's killing people? Why don't you go check the statistics, how many people are dying of fentanyl? And you know who doesn't care to talk about it? The government. Because what's it creating? A bunch of addicts. And it's not just a fentanyl, it's government dependency. The worst addicts that there ever are people that are dependent on the government to provide solutions in their households. And so I say the experiment was on black America. They realized, of course, Lyndon Baines Johnson was a tremendous racist, on record, used the N-word all the time. It fascinates me that in the school system you are taught that he is a hero to black America because he inked the Civil Rights Bill of 1964. He inked it with a figurative gun to his head, right? The protests are breaking out, and there's a quote that they have from him saying that, you know, we've got to give these N-words a little bit of something to make them think they're getting ahead. Right? But he says, I'll have those N-words voting Democrats for the next 200 years. And boy, did he mean it, right? Right after the Civil Rights Bill, they said, oh, well, we're going to help you. We're going to help you guys with welfare. We owe you something for all of this time. You guys, your families are together, but let us help you a little more. The government will give you money if you agree that men shouldn't be in. We'll give you more money if the men that got you pregnant are not in the household. De-incentivize marriage, right? Breakdown of the family. What do you think all this gender nonsense is about? The breakdown of the family. The biggest enemy of the government is a family, a nuclear family that is intact. Dad telling their children what to think. Dad and mom raising their children up with good values. Me, my granddad's lesson, my grandma's lesson, a family that is intact around the table, right? That is an enemy of the government, and they will attack it from every angle, and by God they are. They are going after it via gender, LBGTQIARF, BCD, right? Just tacking on more letters, encouraging children now. You know, once you say before, okay, this person's gay, this person's lesbian. Now they want children in the classroom to be thinking about gender. What? I was learning my colors, right? I was learning how to spell. I have no idea anything about my children, about my teachers' personal lives when I was that young, but they want it. It's an easy way for them to destroy the nuclear family. What else are they doing? You think, oh, what's up with the climate change nonsense? Terrifying children that they're going to die. You want to know what that's all about? The same thing. The breakdown of the family. They are telling children it would be irresponsible for them to have children because the planet's going to be dead in 10 years. They gave an award to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle for agreeing to only have 2 kids because they didn't want to impact the planet any further, to burden the planet any further. This is nihilistic thinking. It's counter to family. What do you think this whole, you know what, abortion now, 9 months in the womb, go for it. It is all about the breakdown of family. It is the Machiavellian scheme of the government is to confuse people, to make people angry, but most importantly, to break down, to make sure there is no chance that in the future, children will have a productive family, right? Start young, raise them up young, in the same way that my grandfather planted those seeds. And at the end, even though I went a very liberal route back to conservatism, I came back to the beginning because I realized something was working in that household. So guys, I only have 1 minute left on stage, and I could talk your entire ear off, but if there's one thing that I want you guys to walk away with, it is that understanding that when the media is showing you something and you feel something, no matter what that is, if you're feeling rage, if you're feeling inclined to suddenly donate money to or do this or that, pause and ask yourself, who benefits from this emotion that I am experiencing, right? And you will find it's never you and it's never your household. It is always a government, whether it is a government here, whether it is a government over there, foreign affairs. It is always a method to make you believe that government must be grown. Now we need a department of racism and education and diversity and inclusion. Now we need a department that's dedicated to this and that. Government is growing and the family unit is shrinking. We can easily fix that. We can easily fix that. We just need mothers and fathers alike to recognize that we are in control of our households. These are our children, and that this should always represent the red line.